Right, lads, what's happening?
I
don't quite know, to be honest with you, mate.
Aye, we're in the exact same position as we essentially were last time we recorded 2 weeks ago. In terms of the league, not really moved, not really changed, and we've had a defeat and a win, which shows how good our league is, to be honest. But welcome back to This Is My Story podcast, where we're going to cover, as I say, we've had a bit of scheduling issues and stuff like that last week, so we didn't cover the Rangers game. So we'll just gloss over that and have a podcast of positivity after today's performance. Is that right?
No, I don't think so.
No. let's not push it too far.
Well, we can try at least. We can try. I'm just trying to get the positive mental attitude across to you boys. Join my bus instead of Ando's bus usual.
What do you mean?
Yeah. I don't care to comment anymore. Anyway, Ando, since you spoke, how have you been? I know you've been under.
I have been circling the drain all week. Safe to say, I had a wee bout of the norovirus Tuesday night, and it's taken me until the best part of Friday afternoon to get better again. So I've lost a bit of weight though, which is decent. And I didn't know that I could spew and shit at the same time, which was I think an important life lesson and skill that I've acquired. So yeah, that was fun. But apart from that, I came up for the Rangers game. Wish I hadn't bothered. Apart from having a couple of pints with Kev, that was a good laugh.
I thought that was why you hadn't bothered. Wish you hadn't bothered. Sorry.
No, don't be that guy, Tam. No, but apart from that, the day was a complete and total failure. But yeah, so I've been trying to get back on the mend ever since Tuesday, and I think I'm just about there.
Good. I'm glad that you're getting better. I was going to say that you went through that because that would be really harsh. Norovirus, no sign worse under Romanov, actually.
I see what you've done there, Tam. Well done. I think so.
Could have been one of them. Kev, what were you saying, man?
Nothing as eventful as Ando. Just the usual mundane life is all that's happened since the last we caught up.
Kev, you are an inspiration to us all. I don't know if I've ever told you that.
Thanks, mate. I do try. Tom was talking about positivity. Yeah, I'll drain that right out of him.
You got through a week, Kev.
Another week where you haven't died. It's cold outside, and your age these days, you never know what can happen. Like old people die in cold weather. So
it's a very, very good point, mate. Very good point. The only good thing about it is the fact that I've not quite hit those particular levels yet. I'm getting close, don't get me wrong, but I'm not quite there.
Well, at least you can say another week closer to retirement, Kev. That's it.
100%, mate. I can't wait.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I as we say, we're going.
Never mind that, Tam. How have you been? No one's asked you. How have you been?
I've been fucked and all, but I'm just the wee sick boy that's always sick and stuff, so I can't really sick note Tam. Like I can't really.
You are an ill wee laddie. Like
wee
I've never met anybody sick as you. I don't like. Obviously, I've met not that kind of sick. I've met some sick folk, but you're a proper sicko.
Out of context, that's bad. Yeah, cool.
Wow.
Right. Yep. Where was it? No. I welcome back and all that. We're going to obviously we'll touch on the Rangers game as we've not discussed it as a podcast as such. Obviously, we are recording on Sunday, so today we won away to St Johnstone again, which is good. Playing on another sort of cow field that is a Scottish Premiership football pitch, essentially. And obviously we've got 2 games this week against St Mirren and the Derby on Sunday, so we'll cover them in a wee bit as well. We'll start off, as we always do, with the headlines, but biggest one that we've not spoke about since we last been on, but Hummel confirmed as our new kit manufacturer. Thoughts, boys? You know what, kick us off. Ando, as you're the man that buys all 3 kits a year, what's your thoughts?
Well, I haven't bought a single kit this year at all. It's been like, I think that was the old me. When I was fully invested in Hearts and where we were going, and I was and still in love with the club and how great we were and stuff like that. But no, no, they're not getting any more of my money than is absolutely necessary. Hummel, I don't know. I'll wait and see what the actual quality of it is like. Not that I'm going to buy it unless it's an absolute worldie. But it's kind of pathetic though to buy a top to never wear it because I'm like fat and old now, so kind of get away with that now. But I genuinely don't know. I don't know. Back in the day when the Romanoff era, I think the first season, Hummel jersey, I think it wasn't too bad. I don't know. Jury's out until I actually see it and feel what the quality of it is like. Not that Umbro was any great shakes. I always thought they were a little bit out of sized. But I suppose that's the way football tops are these days. They're also like muscle fit or whatever. It's like doesn't matter what size you get, you still look like a fat bastard then. So.
I feel you.
We all feel it. We all feel it.
Right. Kev, you any thoughts? Are you happy?
Look, at the end of the day, I'm nearly 50, and having buying replica tops. Well, it's not really something I do very often. I never really did a great deal, to be honest. But the story is that it's the biggest deal from a financial point of view. I think it's over 5 years, which seems to be quite a number of years. So I don't know if they've said it's the biggest deal because it's, let's just use the analogy of £5 million. It's £1 million a year. Well, is it then that big, and that great a deal? Who knows? I've not really looked into it, and I don't think the club have came out and actually given the financial detail around it. What I will say though is I'm sure it's FC Cologne or Cologne, should I say?
Yes.
I'm sure they're made by Hummel, and they've got I think it's either a third shirt or a sort of maybe their centenary shirt. It does look pretty good, I must admit.
That's a better that one, to be honest.
Again, at the end of the day, it comes back to quality, and as long as you do the right colour, then all the kids will buy it. And that's all you're looking for.
Yeah, I was going to say the same, similar to you, Kev. I quite liked the last time we had Hummel. I was saying to Ando earlier, for the first season was good anyway. I do like the sort of the arrow things they've got going on. I've got a Hummel kit that I've got when I was in Denmark. It's a Danish top, obviously.
When you say the kit, have you got the socks and shorts? I bet you have.
And the branded shin pads, branded boots. Wear the full lot to play fives. No, but I've got the top. Sorry, for the whatever World Cup. What was it? Qatar. Whenever year that was, but I bought that, and to be honest with you, the quality of that's decent. So if it's the same as that, and the fact that they're saying it is the biggest deal, I think will not just be picking for a out the catalogue type thing. It'll be made to order, what we want, special tops if we want them, and that's always good. So
let's just hold off until whenever it's actually launched.
I know, and we'll say all three tops are shite anyway, regardless, so it's fine.
Correct. Yeah, we should also reach out to podcast of old Mr. Shanks and see what he's thinking, because he is the kind of guy that will go and buy all 3 or 4 tops, whatever it will be, as long as he's man tits then he show through. Yeah,
you're all right there. I like to buy an old top, and I've bought a few of the Hummel ones for 06 onwards, and the quality of them we'll not discuss, so hopefully that has improved since then, basically what I'm saying. So other than that, whatever headlines do we have? Obviously, Scottish Cup game against Dundee confirmed for Friday the 6th, is that right? 5th? 7th, cool. Yep. Glad my calendar's great. But 7th of March, Friday night, under the lights, Premier Sports, is it? Am I right there?
Yep, will be.
Yes, will be, yeah.
What do you think of that? I don't mind a Friday night. It's a lot better than our last round where we were Monday night away in Paisley. Struggling to speak tonight. But happy enough with that? Kev?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's going to be one of those. One thing I don't think has came across very well is the £25 for the ticket. It would have been nicer to see it just maxed it at £20. That would have been ideal. However, really, let's be honest. It's a Friday night. 8:15 kick-off under the lights. Should there really be any excuse not to actually go? I would hope for a fairly decent turnout, given that kids haven't got school the following day. Likelihood is, unless you're actually working shifts or you are like someone who doesn't get the weekend off, really shouldn't be any reason why you don't attend.
Cool. I'll tell my Mrs. Mum that her 60th's cancelled. I'm not going away anymore, and that's it.
Just man up, mate. Man up.
But I'm unfortunately missing it. But to be honest with you, a Friday night fixture has all the makings for a proper good atmosphere, and I reckon it's one that should sell out. £25, I know, I agree with you. I think that's overpriced, but both clubs have to agree that price. So at the same time, a normal league game, what are we talking? Near enough 30?
Yeah.
So it's a wee bit cheaper than usual, I suppose, but I understand that it's not included in your season ticket or whatever, so it's a bit more expensive, but be a good one, and hopefully a good atmosphere that night as well. Other than that, we are going to touch on the Rangers game to a little extent, but
here's just a breaking news article. Rangers have just sacked him.
Is it
confirmed? Just sacked him there just now.
Oh wow!
So it was obviously rumoured up till we came online tonight that he was going, but is that confirmed now? So
yeah, BBC have got it. The Rangers part company with Philip Clement after 16 months in charge. What's to be said? You can't really say anything about it. He got away with one last weekend, as far as I was concerned.
It makes it even worse that we didn't manage to beat probably the worst manager they've had in recent times,
or the worst manager they've had since the last one.
Well, there is that as well.
It's typical. It just never works for us. It's like I'm pretty sure did we not play them the week after they sacked Gio van Bronckhorst, or very shortly afterwards. I'm sure it was the timing of it was crap, and then we got beat after them. Then we got beat after them when they're on the cusp of sacking their manager, coming off one of the worst defeats in a generation to a fucking bunch of jobbers for wherever the fuck they're from. And it still couldn't beat them. It's pathetic.
I think what you've got to remember about that game, though, and I think this is the only bit we need to discuss, is the fact that we weren't just playing against 11 men, were we?
Well, here we go. Tinfoil hats on.
Takes me on to my next point, Kev.
Thanks. Carry on. We've been doing this too long, eh?
So the SFA KMI panel, which I don't know what KMI stands for, somebody can probably tell me that's more well informed, confirmed that James Wilson should have had a penalty on Sunday, just prior to Rangers scoring their third goal. So as he got second goal, so one that could have really changed the game, essentially. Yeah.
I'm genuinely sick of speaking about this now, right? Because we seem to talk about this every other week, and it's the same thing, right? So like Willie Collum's going to have to come out and explain stupid decisions that they should be getting right. It's absolutely ludicrous that we are using the SFA as like some sort of gold standard for officiating. They're absolutely terrible. Number one, they need to be professional. No point in labouring that point. We've spoken about it over the last months and years. That point doesn't change. But there's just not the money in Scottish football to do it. Far less bringing in foreign referees to referee big games. A bit like European games, right? This is like Rangers and Celtic didn't catch breaks off European referees because they know they're getting on a plane and getting the fuck out of Dodge in a couple of hours after the game anyway. We don't have the money in Scottish football to get a way out of this, which is sad. It's absolutely sad. And until there's more money in the game, or that at least money is diverted towards this, then it's going to continue to be the shit show that it is. It's an absolute embarrassment.
You know what? I completely agree with you, Ando, which is a first. But
Cheers, mate.
but the thing is, the SFA doesn't even pay for VAR. The clubs pay for it. They pay for that whole situation.
But the SFA pay the referees' wages.
Oh no, yeah,
to make them full time. I don't know what referees in this country get paid, like grade 1, or I'm saying grade 1. I don't know what they're called. Class A,
you're right,
grade 1, whatever it is, the top of the pile. The likes of your Kevin Clancy, John Beaton, etc., etc. Then I have no idea what they get paid, but they'll have day jobs. And if they were making as much a fucking Ricky Hunt of their day jobs, they probably wouldn't still be in those day jobs. But
100%.
because this is just a wee side project for them, it's a wee bit of extra beer money. Then there's no accountability, no standards. It's just shit, and it will continue to be shit until, as I say, the money's there to get us out of it, and that's not coming anytime soon.
You've hit the nail on the head there. With the level of incompetency, would not get away with that in any other job.
Mm-hmm.
There's no accountability whatsoever. So there's a great example. That team of guys who have just went away, watched the game again, went, actually, yes, Beaton, you should have got that as a penalty. You should have noted that down as a penalty. But what happens to Beaton? Nothing. He'll get a game next weekend. He'll get a game on Wednesday night.
What's happening to him every other time as well?
Yeah, I mean, look, that's what I'm saying. It's not just us, right? This is exactly the same for Aberdeen, for Hibs, for Dud United, St Mirren, whatever, right? It's exactly the same. But the amount of times that there is just simply no accountability, in any game from a refereeing point of view is ridiculous. How about this? Turn around and say, if you get matters wrong and it's reviewed and it's wrong, then everybody doesn't get paid. Wait, do you see the actual improvement there? Because the guy who is on VAR,
you're never going to get that. But it's a bit like you're right, Kev. There needs to be punitive actions, which is like look at players. You get 6 or 7 yellow cards, and you get a 2-match ban. You get a red card, straight red card, and you're out for 2 games. Right? It should be the same thing. If you get found guilty of making an absolute fucking shambles of a decision, then that Willie Collum, to hell with Willie Collum, nothing to do with him, but obviously he's the face of it all now, isn't he? He needs to come out and explain. Or not explain, but at least say, I've got that one wrong. That's all he says. There's never a sorry or anything like that.
Yeah,
nothing happens to the clubs, and no sort of gesture of any of anything goes towards them. But it should be a case of, right, Beaton's made an arse of that. Right, that's him effectively on, let's call it 1 booking point, right? And as soon as you get 5 booking points, or whatever it might be, then guess what? You're no refereeing a top flight game until you're refereeing bottom 6 games until you can prove that you are that you can handle the big stuff.
And you've also got to say that to the guy who is on the TV in the VAR studio. He's the one that's he's watched it again. So he can actually, in that situation, right, he could, he's in contact with the referee. So why is he not saying, you've missed one back there? You've missed one there? Because you should see it straight away.
And
then wait for the ball to go out and say, you need to go and have a look at that.
Chris Boyd made a good point on the Sky coverage today about Alan Muir, and pretty much exactly that, which is like I don't know if he was saying it was down to him or whatever, but Alan Muir was guilty of not getting involved in situations, or staying quite silent on certain things. But now the opposite is true. He seems to be wading in and saying, "Oh, this needs to happen, that needs to happen." And he was the guy that was the VAR for the Celtic. Did it cross the line or didn't it cross the line yesterday against the Hibs? And so it's one of them. But he was able to mention 6 or 7 incidents where Alan Muir had been involved in either VAR decisions or not, or even just straightforward shit refereeing decisions, to the point where he was pretty much calling for him to be sacked on the Sky coverage today, which is, again, not like Chris Boyd to be controversial, but it's a good point, which is it's getting to that level now where these guys are so crap at their job that they need to be seriously questioned on, actually, is this the right fit for you? Are you good enough to do it? Because the facts and figures tell us, no, pal, you probably aren't.
Yeah. But even talking, like, I don't want to go talking about Celtic v Hibs and how that result or whatever. But that was not clear and obvious in any way if the ball crossed the line.
It wasn't a factual decision because the camera's calibrated on the 18-yard line.
Which is
and
ridiculous.
so,
why?
But again, this is what happens when you have the Ryanair version of VAR, right? Because see, in England, they've got goal line technology. So there's a camera on the goal line as part of the Hawkeye system, right?
Yep.
So, or I don't know if it uses fucking radar or some fancy schmancy thing, but there's definitely a camera on the byline. We don't have that. So you can't give a factual decision. And Brendan Rodgers, as much as he's a mouthpiece and a total dick, then he
was spot on.
He's absolutely spot on. Which is, you can't guess at these things. There needs to be there's the line, you can draw it, or we can see it, and it's beyond the line. All of the balls across all of the line. This case, you couldn't see it. Why are you guessing? And that again, it's amateur hour.
That's why VAR should be there to fix the clear mistakes. The ones that require intervening. But as we've just said, last week required intervening because nobody's seen it on the pitch. In terms of, the refs or linesmen didn't see it on the pitch.
Well, we sure seen it.
I know. The linesman was literally facing the whole thing.
Didn't even get me started on the linesman. When was the last time you seen a linesman get involved in anything? I get they're all mic'd up, and he doesn't have to. There doesn't have to be that ceremonial thing anymore of the referee walking over to the linesman to have a word in his ear because they're all radioed up. But honestly.
Yeah,
the whole thing's just shit.
Well, I posted on Twitter last week, and I don't know if you guys even seen, but I posted on the podcast Twitter a comparison of the Rangers penalty they got against Queen's Park and the one against us, and watch the both situations back is the exact same thing. And I'm not saying that Wilson's. I don't even know if it is a guaranteed penalty, but you set the precedent the week before that that is a penalty. So. We just want consistency. It just doesn't happen.
Well, we've got consistency. It's consistently shite.
Well,
to draw on a point Ando's raised there is exactly it. At the end of the day, these decisions can have a massive impact on other people, right? And I'm not saying that there was a situation yesterday, but let's look at it. That there's Clement lost his job tonight, right? If that had been the same situation, and let's say yesterday's game had been 2-1 with possibly a controversial goal or something similar, he loses his job for that. Now, I know it's different because he'll still get his settlement pay and everything else, and let's be honest, he could probably walk into another job by April, May, or at least by the summertime. But these are the kind of things that they don't take into account, and until they actually sort it out. And Ando's point of it's calibrated to the 18-yard line. What the point of that? Cameras nowadays are not expensive. Yeah, they're not expensive. You need effectively one or possibly two along the actual goal line. You need one or two along the 18-yard box, and one or two to identify whether a ball went out the pitch. It's not difficult. It's no cost.
You're right. It's not the cameras. It's the problem. It's the people that you need to drive the cameras, right? Because these people need wages, they need travelling expenses, they need a healthcare plan, they need national insurance payments, all this sort of stuff that the SFA has to pay for them, or at least outsource. Right.
2022, they said that each Premiership referee gets £850. That was 2022. So what are they on now? Probably near £1,000. Yeah. Max. And then your assistant referee gets $450. So
again, that a week?
Yeah. Per game.
Per game. So okay. I do know, and this came from a mate who is a referee, that they work by your postcode. So if your postcode in the game that you are assigned is more than a 2-hour drive, then they have to put you up in a hotel the night before. So just say, for example, you live in Edinburgh, but the game's in Dingwall, then they have to put you up in a hotel the night before.
Yeah, because they can't have you travelling there absolutely smashed.
Well, exactly. So, you take I get you what you're saying, but, Tom said about how the fact that at the end of the day, VAR is actually covered by the actual clubs. The clubs just need to simply be a wee bit more advanced and go out and buy these particular cameras. Feeds that go straight into the guy in effectively a studio in the middle of Glasgow. So from that point of view, you should be able to actually identify whether a ball has went over the line or not.
Well, here's a question for you. Would you just chuck it at this point? Because I would, 100%. And I wasn't for it in the first place.
I don't think you can. I think the toothpaste's out of the tube now. You could never go back to a situation, because see, it's one of those things, right? You're going to upset some people no matter what, because as soon as you get rid of it and there's a decision that doesn't go the right way for someone, and it's in a proper there's jeopardy, right? So, for example, it's a title decider, or it's a cup final, or whatever. There's a decision that has ramifications. The first thing that you're going to hear about is everybody's going to be screaming for VAR. I remember the halcyon days when we had VAR and how brilliant it was, and we just got everything right all the time. It doesn't matter. The grass is always going to be greener, right? But I think it's one of those things now. It's like the atomic bomb. Once it's been built, that's it. It's been built. Let's say the toothpaste is out the tube. You can do it. Put it back in. It's gone.
Yeah,
it'll always be here now.
You're right. You are right. To be fair, it just annoys me, the whole way it works. You watch a European game and it's very little impact on the actual outcome of the game, whereas you watch,
because it's professionally done, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what Ando's just said.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. That is it. Anyway, it's
been a while since we've done a ref watch, so aye.
Anyway, on that ref today, by the way, he is up there with the worst. I don't even know his name because he's quite
Callum Scott.
Aye.
It's today's referee.
He goes top of the wank list for me. So,
I don't know how the wank list, but
well, let's get into that, Tom. Let's get into the game of the day, because I'm interested to hear more about why he is top of the wank list.
It's not even that he done anything actual wrong. Like we talked about last week with John Beaton, where there was a massive decision, but it's just refs that just can't control a game. Just infuriates me more than the ones that can. They're actually all right, and then when it comes to the big decisions, they fuck it. But I'm going to get in a rabbit hole. Let's not.
Here we go.
Carry on, Tam. I enjoy these minutes.
Eyes down, look in. Here we go.
But the biggest decision today, Kev, you touched on it, and this is one where Gordon gets absolutely clattered at the park, goes down injured, ball goes out for a throw-in. St Johnstone players are expecting a free kick. Everyone in the stadium is expecting a free kick. And he still continues to get a throw-in 2 minutes after Gordon's got up. And you're just like... But he's the one that had he was in charge of St Mirren last week, which I didn't actually see or anything, but apparently from what I've seen online, that goes under the territory of one of the worst refereeing performances for both teams ever. So there you go.
Couldn't tell you, I don't really read a great deal about St Mirren or Hibernian football clubs, so there you go.
Yeah, fair. Shall we talk about last week's game?
Nope.
To an extent. Can we just say
it happened?
It can summarize it as the worst Rangers team in a generation. Hearts still couldn't beat them. I think on a different day, we could have easily been 3 or 4-0 up. But you know what? Actually, just to hover this point, we always say this, right? On a different day. I want it to be one of those different days at least once in my life, right? So a bit like when you scud Celtic 4-0 at Tynecastle way back in 2018 or whatever the fuck it was, right? It needs to be one of those other days, and it just seems so far away now. But it's like, see, in years gone by, you'd always talk about this Hearts team will give somebody a doing. I don't think it ever will. I know it gave Dundee a pumping 6-0, but they're absolutely dreadful just now. So it's that's just a fluke result. But we never capitalised, never took the chances. Cabango should have done a lot better with the opportunities he was given, and Jamie McCart should be a striker.
Jamie McCart added to our own goals tally for own goals. What a player.
Unbelievable. I don't know, right? And I think somebody asked this in the community chat. Can anyone ever remember a Hearts player scoring 2 own goals in a game at Tynecastle?
So we spoke about this in the pub after the game, Ando.
I don't know if it's ever happened.
I went and had a look. I couldn't find anything on London Hearts in regards to the same player scoring 2, or same Hearts player scoring 2 goals. Or 2 own goals, should I say. However, as again we said in the pub last week, I do remember being at a Hearts Hibs derby when a Hibs player scored 2 own goals and Hearts won 2-0. It's a fantastic game. Thank you very much, Mr. Gary Smith.
I did enjoy the memes online yesterday. It was like, come on, post-match interview. He's like, I would have started McCart as our goal scorer, but he wasn't available and stuff. But
Jamie McCart, I don't know what his goal total is now, but for a defender, build the statue now. Done well, the lad.
Am I right in thinking Kabangu has finally taken over our top goal scorer off on goals today?
I think he might have done. I'm not actually too sure. Is that him got 7 goals now? It will be.
Yeah.
Aye, 7. I don't know. I don't have the figures to hand, but he'll be up there. 7 goals in. I think it's 7 goals in 7 games actually, or is it 8 games? Something like that. But doing well.
Yep.
5 of them in the league, is it? Must be.
And the mad thing is, just to finally cover the Rangers game, he could have had 5 again on his cell in that Rangers game, to be honest.
Yeah, if he takes his chances, we weren't even talking about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just one of those days. Like, you can't fault him because he's came back today and scored the double. It's not like it's let him hit his confidence or whatever, but last week we could have had a real opportunity to beat that team. It's a team that who have they been beat by this year?
Everybody just about.
St Mirren, Ross County, Motherwell. I don't know, but everyone, as you say, all the shite teams that you would expect to beat them, wouldn't expect to beat them. And then when it comes to us, we've taken 2 points off them since arrived. Good. Really good. Anyway, what did I say? Podcast of positivity. So
it's really shaping up that way. Let's go.
We went to St Johnstone today. We went to Perth to play on what can only be described as
a bog.
A bog. Thank you, Kev. Thanks. That's the best decision. Best description, sorry, that could have been said, because horrible. For the first 10 minutes, both teams didn't look like they could make a pass, because you were like, how do you even play on this? And that was for both teams. 2 teams that actually like to play football as well. So it was St Johnstone of old might have quite enjoyed that, but under Simo Valakari, I don't think they really particularly liked that surface either. So to be fair, the game went on, though, there was some good football. I actually thought it was quite enjoyable watch. I don't know if you would agree, but
in stages.
On stages,
I think, exactly. As you rightly say, I think the first 10, 15 minutes of the game was a bit ugly, in all honesty. I think from the point of view of just players finding their feet literally because of the underfoot conditions. But we dominated a lot of the first half. Yep. Yes, they came in the second half when they scored their equaliser. But there's a number of positives about the game, the way in which we played in spells. But we can't. I think we've got those spells have got to be better, and we've got to do more with the ball.
Agree. What did you think prior to the game? Then were you happy it was like an unchanged team for the Rangers game?
From my point of view, yes, right, and we said it, right. A number of us have said it in the aftermath of last week's game. That team, let's be honest, played Rangers off the park. You take out the 2 own goals, we played them off the park. If Kabangu takes his chances, the one that Shankland had last week, he's rattled it down Butland's throat, really. Anywhere else, then Butland's not getting to that. It's as simple as that. So, all in all, let's be truthfully honest, that starting 11 last Sunday is probably the right starting 11 to play today. And had the conditions been better, then maybe it would have been a totally different game anyway, because we would have played a lot more sort of free-flowing football. I was surprised, I must admit, to see it as a same 11. I expected to see Khartoum possibly come in, whether that be for Grant or whatever, I don't know. But I think if you look at it, if you were one of the players that started the game last Sunday and the way in which we did play, I think you as an individual would be actually pretty disappointed not to start this week as well. Don't know.
Yep. I actually agree with you, and I quite like the fact that he's playing this sort of I don't know if you call it a 4-4-2 diamond or a 4-3-3 with the 3 strikers, but it is very attacking, but it also kind of has that solid sort of back line in a sense. I know we've not had a clean sheet for the last 2 weeks, but there is that sort of aspect that I quite like about it. And it really, like, look at Benny Beringame for the last 2 games. He's been brilliant. Like, and I think that's where he's sitting, that lone player in that position. He thrives in it. And to be honest, I thought he was man of the match today, the way he played. But no,
I'm not. That's not what I'm laughing at. So Chris Sutton on Sky commentary today was talking exactly the same way. How Benny Beringame had been absolutely
yeah, I know.
head and shoulders above everybody on the park. And he had that wee bit at the end, towards the end of the game. He had the chance to possibly shoot, and well, you're never going to score. To be truthfully honest, he was about 8 yards out, so there was no chance he was going to be scoring, Benny. But he said that had he scored there, that would have just made it, the perfect game for him, because he's been outstanding. And then something like 36 seconds later, the commentary guy turned around and says, "And who's your man of the match?" And he straight away went Kabangu. Like, what?
I know. I was the exact same.
Clown of a man.
How he was literally the last 10 minutes he was going on about how good he was, and then that I don't want to just drag somebody down for no reason, but there seems to be, me and you, Kev, have spoken it when we've done a podcast before, but that right side, Adam Forrester, what's the situation there? Do you reckon it's a time for Taylor to come in and start? I can't say I was blown away with Taylor when he came on, but also I can't say that there was anything done wrong, but just seems to be a wee bit missing there now.
Yeah, the balance is clearly not in place at this moment in time. I always feel with Forrester that he's borderline as to whether he should actually be in the first team, and I think he's only in the first team from the point of view that we haven't got really anybody else.
Yeah.
Ogie Koke has gone now, and from that point of view, Taylor's not up to match fitness. However, what I would say is that with more and more minutes in the legs and more first team experience, there's a good chance that Taylor will actually then start to be starting games. And I always feel with Forrester, and this is no disrespect to him in any way, shape, or form, sometimes looks like he's actually blown at his arse after 20 minutes. And for a lad that's only 20 years of age, it's quite embarrassing. But hey, what the hell? I'm usually bursting at my arse after 3 minutes. So
I was going to make a joke about your missus there, but I was like, I'm not going to do it.
Fucking hell. What?
Sorry.
she'll battle me.
I know she will tell you. I actually know that. Sorry, it just came into my head. I was like, I can't say it, but I also have to say it. Anyway, what was I going to say? I think, though, to be honest with you, I actually agree with Kev. I think Forrester, I don't think he's ready for first team football at Hearts, if that makes sense. We've put Finlay Pollock out to Rafe Rovers, who's scored 3 goals in 4 games. We'll see how that goes, Kev. It's fine. We put Macaulay Tate out to Livy, and I've seen a couple of tweets saying that he's doing really well. And is it one of those situations where Forrester has been elevated into the first team squad because there is no option? And ideal situation would have been he'd probably been loaned out prior to coming in to the first team and squad type thing in that situation.
I think you're right. I know there's been a number of other young lads in that position. We go back a couple of seasons ago, Cammy Logan played it right back. And that same B team was loaned out to, I think he went to Queen of the South, and I think he was also at Kelty Hearts for a wee while, to give him that level of experience. And from that point of view, that's probably what Forrester hasn't had.
Yeah.
And from that point of view, yeah, you're probably right. Going to Alloa or going to maybe even something like Dunfermline or something like that, just to give him that first team experience and get game time at that level would definitely help him. But just because of the circumstances within our squad, poor recruitment back in the summer, these kind of things, that's where it comes to.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think ideal situation. I don't want to write the boy off because there is something there, and he's got a fairly decent delivery, and he's got a good energy. But I feel just the men's game and that step up for the B team in the Lowland League, it's just not there yet. And
How
that's
strong's that red wine you're drinking, mate?
It's even my second glass as well. But Ando, you got anything to say?
I don't know if he's ever going to be good enough. So I'm sorry to say it, but it's in the bin for me. It'd be given a fair crack. How long do you continue? Before you go, actually, no, you know what, you aren't good enough. But like, how long has he been playing? It's been 3/4 of a season now.
Yeah.
Aye, and for me, he causes more problems than he solves. And so for that reason, it's a no for me.
Yeah, I don't want to go back to the Rangers game, but every time their attack was coming for that wing, it wasn't going down the other one, and there was a reason for that. Put it that way, they knew.
It was the same today, and if you look at it, we can really go into the game now. But you look at the goal that they scored. He should be out there quicker. He's jogging out to actually shut the boy down. Then when he actually shuts him down, he tries to show him onto what is his left foot. Well, if the boy's playing on the left hand side, there's a high chance that his left foot's half decent. I know the boy then cuts in and then lays it off. The cross comes in and McCart's all over the place trying to, I don't know, find the ball. I don't know. But yeah, I think as Ando has rightly said, 3/4 of the season he's probably played 20 games this season when you include European games, cup games, league games. When you look at it that way, actually, there's not been enough in those games for me to say that he's even got the possible caliber to be Hearts right back.
Yeah, I can't disagree at this point, Kev, to be honest with you. So which is what it is. But we'll kick on with the sort of game. I know we've kind of touched on it. The first 10-15 minutes were a bit of a snooze fest. Both teams just try to get their foot in the ball and see what happens and work out the surface. We did seem to get into the game a bit more from there, and then obviously the goal came. How does Camango score it? With his arse or with his leg or foot? No, it's not a great finish, but he's in the right place at the right time. And
comes off his left arse cheek. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
The assist for Shankland slides down the ground. It's like, well, actually, his legs down. There you go. So it's his left arse cheek that gets it, and that's fair enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Well played, big man.
That's what we want as well. So, to be honest, you touched on it there, Andel, with the Shankland assist. I thought it was he played it perfectly in terms of taking the ball down and actually just putting it into an area. And it feels there's a relationship kind of developing there. Obviously, we've seen with the second goal as well, where it was similar in terms of Shankland passing it off to Camango. But I like that. I know, obviously, we didn't actually touch on it in the headlines this week, but Critchley came out and said that Shankland talks will be in place. Do we think we should be just still having the same offer as we did last season type thing? Where are we at?
Sorry, are we talking about Shankland here? Apologies if I...
Yeah, sorry, Shankland, yeah.
Ship's sailed. Like, I think he'd love to keep him, I suppose, but he... Like, I've not seen anything. Obviously, it would be common knowledge if he had signed a pre-contract elsewhere. But he's gonna go. And it's a shame, but he's done well. It's 60 odd goals, whatever it is. 63, I think. So yeah. Bon voyage. Hope you do well in the future. Thanks for your service. But I doubt. I'd still want him to stay, but I don't think he will.
I agree. To be honest, though, I think we should still chuck as much as we can at him and say, here's our best offer. Take it or leave it. Because I think we could build a team around that sort of partnership. Him, Camango, Wilson. Shankland's just intelligence when he's playing is second to none. But like, we don't have a player like Shankland in the team, and you've seen it again today. Created the 2 goals, but
it'd be very expensive to replace.
Yeah, exactly that.
Or would he? I'm just playing devil's advocate. We've not played the devil's advocate for a while. Devil advocate card. But would he, given the fact of, we brought Cabangu in for probably next to nothing. We're paying his wages, or a percentage at least of his wages. And yes, there is an opportunity to cement that particular contract come the end of the season. You could possibly go see through Jamestown what other opportunities or options are out there. And that's maybe something that's sitting in the back of Shankland's mind, is the fact that, he's been through what effectively is definitely 2 windows. You could look at 3 windows, which is January of last year, then the summer and this one, without any real club coming in for him and a concrete offer. If the rumours and the stories that has been coming out from McKinley and everybody else is actually true, then from that point of view, does he then now start to think, wait a minute here, I was top goal scorer for the last 2 seasons. For whatever reason, nobody's coming in for me. Why is that? Is that playing on his mind? Is he coming towards at the end of a contract and going, I don't even know how I'm going to put food on the table come October? I know that's not going to be the case, right? But that's the kind of thing that can sometimes affect a player. And I just wonder if.
Sorry, Kev, go.
Well, I was just going to say, I wonder if that does play on his mind a little bit. I know he is, everybody goes on about the fact he looks a little bit over, carrying a wee bit extra pounds than he was last season. But what you've said, Tam, is right. His intelligence on the park is incredible, especially given the levels that we are at, right? That's what we've got to remember here. The way in which he's played that pass for looking really just for somebody at the back post. Cabangu's read it and successfully put it over the line with left arse cheek, whatever it might have been. Then the second goal, the way to pass on that surface, to put it onto Cabangu's left foot, and Cabangu, for all his situation, the same thing would have been running through his head of what happened last week against Rangers, But he keeps his cool, puts his foot right through it, and puts it in the back of the net, which was, I think took a lot off his shoulders as well as. So I don't have a problem with offering Shankland, a new contract, 2 years, whatever it might be. But what we cannot do is we cannot put him on the same salary that we were discussing and talking about last January. And it has to be with caveats of you maybe are no longer going to be club captain. Going to look at other options. All these things have to be taken into consideration and taken into account.
Yeah. I don't know if I agree with that, to be fair. In a sense, I think the captain just chooses itself, in a sense that he's probably... I don't think he's even club captain. I think obviously Gordon's club captain, and when he's playing at Shankland's team captain, in a sense that he's still does the leading on the park, whereas Gordon does the background work. As far as I'm aware, that is how it works. But captain in this day and age isn't the same that it used to be, is it?
Why?
Well,
no, I agree with you to an extent, right? We spoke about this pre-game last week around the whole aspect of captain. You should have effectively those kind of characters within your team. That you maybe don't have the captain's armband, but you should have the awareness. You should have the control, the importance in the team as a captain would have. That to me is something you should be looking at, and that way your young lads like your Forresters and others can look up to that kind of player. That's the way I've always believed that it should have been. However, there's a number of aspects around the way in which we currently set up that doesn't look like we have that. But,
yeah. No, I do agree. I feel there is a lack of leaders, and I think, to be honest with you, I think what we've done in January is brought characters in as well as players. As much as we've bought on a analytic basis, the players we bought in seem to fit the character of the club as well, in terms of your McCart, your Cabangu, the way he speaks, even Steinbender to an extent. He looked like he was sort of talking Forrester through the game today. the way he was playing. So I agree. It's a tough one. It's one of those. It is even worse to see your club captain go for a free. You would expect them to be the one that wants to sign and go, but at the end of the day, it's all as we would be in our working environment. If somebody's going to come along and offer you more money, you're probably going to take it. So it is what it is. But I just feel that Shankland, he's somebody we could really short term. I know he's, what is he, 29 now? Something like that. 28, 29. But the next 3-4 years, you could really build a team around just his intelligence. He's still going to score your goals, still going to create good relationships with like a Kabangu type thing. And he's going to teach Wilson how to play the game, who's going to hopefully make us some money in the future.
Who needs a rest at the moment, though?
I think he does after today's performance. Not performance, because he wasn't bad by any means, but you're right there. Sounding like a sports scientist there, Kev.
Yeah. Thanks, mate. Yeah. It's what I do in my spare time.
Is it? Brilliant. Anyway, you've touched on the second goal. I don't think there's really much else to talk about the first half. It was a bit turgid at times. It was a bit sort of the elements in the pitch played a part, put it that way. Second half, it was a bit testy for the first 10 minutes, and then you've got that Craig Gordon save, which Chris Sutton said was the best save of the season.
Oh,
Thoughts on
God,
that,
mate.
Ando?
Honestly, some of the stuff that comes, honestly, there should be a flush mechanism on the side of Chris Sutton's head. The guy's an absolute toilet, right? And there's just nothing but shite comes out of his mouth. So he's not a very good toilet.
You've had a lot of experiences with toilets in the last week, to be fair.
I have. I feel like I'm definitely a subject matter expert.
Clearly a crack in the pan.
Fucking hell. Honestly, you know what's great save. But his arm's there already anyway, right? It's like, does he stick his hand out like go gadget arms, bang, punches it away? No, his hand's there already. The ball just seems to be flying towards his hand. It's an accidental great save, right? But he is still in the right place at the right times, making himself big. It's what the keeper should do. He's done exactly what I expect of him in that situation. And I'm not saying it's not a great save. It is a great save. To turn around and say it's the best save that you've seen this season, it's the best save I've seen in that game.
To be honest, we've seen
the best save of the
Craig
season.
Gordon saves that are kind of similar as well.
Honestly, they're an absolute arse ride.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, he probably, the way the game was going, I've actually missed out. We lost a goal prior to that, didn't we? The CDB goal was before that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
So, we'll go back to that. But the way the game was going anyway, like that save did win us as much as the game as Kabangu second, to be honest. Like the way, just the sort of vibe of the game and the pressure, it kind of took that off and it gave the team a bit of confidence, and the tides kind of turned in a way. But I did miss the DB's goal. Mad how similar it was to the first goal that Hart scored as well.
Yeah, similar idea. In that their centre half has lost Kabangu, just like the Sidibe has effectively sold McCart an absolute dummy. McCart was looking around and hoping for offside, but the guy clearly was onside, and he just simply had lost his man. And that's a couple of times now that McCart's, that's why he scored the second own goal last week, was because he didn't keep an eye on where his player was. Too busy ball watching. The first one last week, he couldn't do anything about it. Give the boy the credit for putting it in at pace. But yeah, the guy's done everything. Could Gordon have came out and got it? Maybe, but let's look upon the positives, which is 4 minutes later.
Yeah, exactly that. So I'll carry on with that. We've touched on the goal, but after that, it was. Were you two ever confident? Obviously, St Johnstone had the goal that was chopped offside, which now they're saying might not have been offside, or there was another example of where it's guesswork in a sense, was it?
I don't think so. I think the guy was just fractionally offside, and because we do now talk about it as fractions, that's just unfortunately the way it is.
Yeah.
How many have we lost out in this season? It's that is, to an extent, that swings and roundabouts, and yeah, it is marginal, but unfortunately, some people are saying that really from an offside point of view, there should be clear air between both the defender and the attacker, which, yeah, I can understand that. But when you're coming down to such fractions as we are at the moment, it's just unfortunate. But it was a cracking header. I'll give the boy the benefit of doubt. It was a really, really good header.
To be honest, that you're talking about the best save of the season. That's probably up there with the best headers of the season I've seen, and that's not even a.
Oh, in the one game time, Jesus!
Oh Christ! Call me Chris Sutton. Please don't. Actually, that's really offensive. Actually, but no, they done well. Other than that, obviously there was a few more chances either side, but it was one of those games where you're just like, please hold on. We've had enough misery up in Perth over the last. Well, actually, we've had a quite a decent record over the last probably 5 games, but
it's just undefeated in 9, and I think undefeated in 5 at the McDermott tie.
Yeah. For what was for a long time a horrible, sticky, horrible place to go and never come away with anything. I think it was something like ridiculous, like a 10-year difference.
Yeah, it was genuinely we hadn't won
between victories. To now actually going and that's 5 on the bounce. So yeah, I think that's been put to bed. The only thing I would want to call out is Kabanga's got to stop doing this little sort of try to dive to win penalties. That's the second time he's done it now.
Oh, stop doing it! Sorry, I thought you said he needs to try that.
No. Well, if he needs to try, if he's going to try and do it better. that would be my way of saying it. But no, let's put that in the bit.
Make sure somebody's put a foot out first. So because he could have just squared it, and as we've seen against Aberdeen, he could have just shot. So you're right. It's probably that thing for coming for European football that you might get these, but yeah. Here, no chance, as we've just discussed earlier in the show. But again, we've seen the two changes in Neuenhoff and Khartoum coming on. Any thoughts of the two of them? Neuenhoff's looking pretty good. I don't think he's very far away for a start, but it's what do you change in that midfield at this point?
That's easy for me. Drop Grant. Grant today again with his wee back flicks and try. You can't do it on that surface. He's been playing professional football long enough to know perfectly well that there's a time and a place for that kind of stuff. And today definitely was not the time or the place. So yeah, I think the automatic, and it might happen on Wednesday night. Seamless, by the way. It might happen on Wednesday night that Khartoum actually starts or Neuenhoff actually starts in place of Grant.
It's interesting. Obviously, Devlin will probably be back and play on.
Well, Devlin could have played today.
Yeah, he wasn't in the squad, was he? No. Strange one. I think if Devlin comes in, which probably is his preferred, you're then going to lose a Wilson, a Kabanga, or a Shankland. It's probably Wilson at that point on Wednesday as well.
Yeah, I would agree. I think you could possibly see a number of changes for Wednesday night. I don't think you'll see any changes in the back. Other than maybe Taylor coming in, but I don't genuinely see it. I
don't think so either. No.
Which then says, do you play Taylor on Sunday? It's a massive game. Do you want him to go into that particular environment? And that, it's not cauldron. Let's be truthfully honest. No in comparison with what he's probably experienced before, in Central America and elsewhere with the national team. But you might see that he comes in and plays it at right back instead of Forrester. Which, I don't have an issue with. I think it would be a good example to see where he is at this moment in time. But going back to what you said about Khartoum and Hoff, you could probably look at Grant and Wilson and those two coming in to fill those gaps.
Yeah, I think that might be something we'll see. It's quite interesting that we've now got. We looked at the start of the season, and you were like, "Oh, we've got all the same midfielder players. They're all the same." It was Benny, I forgot his name now, Boateng, sorry, and Devlin, and they're all very similar. They're all kind of take the ball, recycle the ball, and now we're looking at when Khartoum came on the day. He likes to take the ball, he likes to run with the ball. Seen that on Sunday as well. And then you've got Neuenhoff, who took a decent shot, which got a decent save, which we don't see for our midfield. And it's just quite interesting to see how Critch is going to balance that going forward. I'd be interested to see how he's going to do it. He likes that sort of narrow midfield anyway. I don't think Spittle at the moment is droppable in a sense. Although I don't think he's been the levels he has been previously. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. There. Any thoughts on the cartoon doing off, Ando?
I'd like to see them in sooner rather than later. I think they just offer a different dimension. I've only seen the cartoon twice, and I think seem to offer something a little bit above what we have just now. So yeah, I'd like to see him come in. And Hoff, I've always kind of liked him. Like I'm always the voice of doom and gloom or whatever, but I do like him, and I think those two being involved more often, I think it's definitely got to fare well. I made my thoughts well clear on George Grant on last Sunday against the Rangers. It's I think his goose is cooked. He needs to go. He's absolutely dreadful. The heart of a mouse. Just shies away from everything. Bye. Done. Yeah. Although I do see maybe his agent or whoever it is that's trying to start the some sort of campaign for him. Was there not an interview in the BBC? Hearts fans haven't seen the best of me so far. Well, I don't even know how long you've been here, but
3 years.
If there you go. If I've not seen the best of you now, I'm not going to see it anytime soon. I'm a bugger off. Get out.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I actually thought he was. I'm going to differ for you today. I thought he was actually decent. I thought this formation suits him better than wherever he's played previously.
Get off the way, mate.
Yeah,
you've had enough, Dan. Like, get to bed.
Anyway, Kev touched on it. I touched on it. Wednesday night, Sunday during the day, we've got 2 big games coming up. Seems to be that the league, every result that we wanted yesterday didn't go for us. As I said at the start of the show, we are in the same position as we essentially were prior to today, prior to Friday, basically. Just shows, I suppose, Wednesday night again, it's a must win, get us into the top 6. Yeah. How are we feeling for it? What are we thinking?
Be a tough one, I think, but it is a home game, isn't it? Aye.
Yep. Yeah.
Game at home at night. You always fancy your chances. I fancy beating them at Tynecastle. So, although saying that, St Mirren, very good result against an absolutely dreadful Rangers side yesterday. So they're going to come into town chest puffed out, aren't they? Ready for a go. So I think genuinely looking forward to it. I think it'll be a really good game. I think if we play to the same levels that we did against Rangers and just today was different, I suppose, because it's the pitch. It was horrible. It's fucking weather's minging, all that sort of shit, right? But provided it's a fairly decent night on the home Bowling Green, then I think we'll be fine. I don't think it'll be easy, but I see us getting out of Dodge with a win.
What worries me about Wednesday night is St Mirren will happily let us have the ball the whole time. And when teams sit back and let us have the ball, like St Mirren had more, St Johnstone had more possession than us today. Rangers obviously had more possession than us on Sunday, I would imagine. I don't actually know that for a fact. But these are 2 teams that try to attack. St Mirren will just let us. And that's what scares me. I still don't know if we have that ability to just break down that low block that we see.
Mm-hmm.
So I get where you're coming from, and to answer the question, though, we had more ball possession than Rangers last week.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, but I think you're right. But then you've also just what you've just said around the guys like Neuenhoff, Khartoum. If they play on Wednesday night, then we've got 2 midfielders that want to take the ball forward.
Yeah.
2, what would appear anyway, or 1 appears to be quite, I don't mean skillful in the way of just what he can do well, but I'm just thinking the whole all-round package in Khartoum. Looks like he can actually see a pass. And again, the more he plays with the guys that either in training or in first team games, the more we're going to get out of him. So I get where you're coming from, in the fact that St Mirren will probably sit in and try and hit us on the break, or just generally with regards to more ball possession. But we've now starting to build a squad that would hopefully allow us to actually make these difficult games easier for us because of the guys that you're trying to bring in that have got a little bit more guile about them in the way in which they play.
Yep. Fair. No, I actually agree with that, to be fair. I'll be interested to see at whatever time on Wednesday, like 6:30 or something, when the team comes out, what it actually is. And if we do go a wee bit different or we stay with the same. But I would like to see a bit more of a ball-playing midfielder like those two we've mentioned, and see if they can actually break down that low block they have. Shall we predict that game first, and then we'll talk about Sunday? Who wants to kick us off?
Hearts 2, St Mirren 1.
Kev?
I'll go 2-0.
2-0. I also think a win, and I don't want to copy Ando, but I'll go 2-1 as well.
Okay, you don't want to copy me, but you've
I don't
done
want to copy
just
you.
that.
I will do that. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So yeah,
that's fine.
I don't want to, but I think you're right again for once.
I can just retire now. Tam's on my side now for a change.
For a change. And then obviously we have, I don't want to call them the informed team of the league, but they probably are, unfortunately. And an away trip to Easter Road on Sunday. We're not going to podcast before that, so how are we thinking that's going to go? Because I have absolutely no idea. I've spent my weekend with two Hibs fans, and they say they're the exact same. They were obviously, I was in a recording studio with the two of them yesterday, so watched the game with them, and they were saying, regardless of yesterday's result, they're still scared of Cabangu, which is fine. I'll happily let them be, but
it's one of them. It's a coin flip game for me, because how many times have we wandered in Easter Road and like not been in great form or whatever, and come away with a result? And then the opposite of that is true. When you're flying high, you can go there and you can get not taught a lesson, because they're not that good. But it can swing the other way. I genuinely, I'm not sure. I would absolutely love to go marching over there and just absolutely fucking bitch slap them into next week when they're flying high and on song. But I don't know. It remains to be seen if we can do it. But I suppose the setup on the day is going to be key, and I don't know. I've not, because Hibs are doing quite well. I've not been paying attention to them deliberately. So it's difficult, isn't it? You don't want to read about your rivals doing well. It's just fucking stupid. So I've got no idea what their players are like just now. I'm guessing they're doing quite well. Obviously individually, because the team's been performing well and getting good results. But I mean, it's Hibs. Hibs have always got the potential to Hibs it. So
true.
Just hope.
I've seen earlier or something. It was best run of form since 1970s or something in terms of the games they've not been beaten in 14 games or something. But again, it's a derby. You never know what's going to happen. Yeah, Kev, any thoughts?
I never seen any of their game yesterday, but let's give them the benefit. Let's give them the credit that they're due. To beat Celtic, and by all accounts, from what I'm led to believe, they actually played really well. Yeah. So from that point of view, let's give them the credit.
No, don't do that.
I've seen the celebrations after. I've seen the celebrations after the game. So they won the league yesterday, which is great. Good luck for them. But if you consider that there's a full calendar or full card of fixtures on Wednesday night, and depending on how results go, we could be a point behind them. Just take that into put that into consideration. We could be a point behind them going into that game on Sunday, depending, as I say, on what happens with other results. So we've got to remember that at the end of the day, that they're having a great season, but we could just be a point behind them going into the game on Sunday. Come out with 3 points on Sunday, and all of a sudden you're above them. And that goes back to what you said right at the back at the beginning, Tam, is that this league at this moment in time is so fucked up. It's incredible. What were we, 28 points behind Aberdeen at one point?
Yeah.
And again, okay, Aberdeen got a very lucky last minute goal yesterday. Again, you could be looking at actually only being 4 or 5 points behind them come Wednesday night, depending on results, because I think they go to Parkhead. Is that right?
You are correct. Yeah, Celtic go to Parkhead.
Celtic go to Parkhead, do they?
Aberdeen go to Parkhead. Hibs go to Dundee United, and obviously we have something in. So
you could be 5 points on Wednesday night. You could be 5 points behind Aberdeen, who were 28 points ahead of us when we were going through the whole managerial change. So that just gives you a bit of an idea as to the situation. And to go back to Ando's point, yes, derbies are derbies. Who wants to win it? Who wants it more? That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. I say this on a regular basis when we're talking about any derby. You've got to have Hearts people round about the players, letting them know what this means. We go on about it. What's a successful season for Hibs is beating us and maybe finishing above us in the league. They class that as a success.
Yeah,
we've had a really bad season. We could be looking at actually by 6 o'clock or the next time we pod, we could be sitting 1-2 points ahead of them. Right, that's what you've got. Let's strip it back. That's where we're at with it, and that's where we could be finding ourselves the next time we actually are on pod. So from that point of view, let's go for a draw at Tannadice on Wednesday night, a victory at Tynecastle for us, and then a victory at Easter Road. Thanks very much. Back in your bed.
And then on the same day, Aberdeen and Dundee United play each other.
So there you go. That ends in a draw as well. Before you know it, you've got a proper battle for third place.
Yeah. Kev, this is a positivity podcast right here.
Thanks very much, guys. Speak to you all later.
Bye-bye. Shall we predict it?
No,
I actually agree on that note.
Yeah, there's not. I have to stay well away from this one.
Yeah, let's just not. We'll see, because whatever happens, Wednesday night results will change whatever we say. So we'll just leave it there. But anything else to add this week, boys?
No, not really.
No?
I think I'm done.
with Hearts live and everything else.
Well, everything. I'm very tired. I've lost a lot of fluid and a lot of weight this week. I think I am quite happy just to go to my bed for the rest of the week. But I'll to be honest, I'm looking forward to these games this week. I think every season, obviously season defining. I think the sooner we can get. I'm already nervous about Sunday. It's annoying me.
I feel it, man.
That's it.
Anyway,
that's it. We could be right back to misery by next week.
Exactly.
You'll know if we get an early podcast out how we're feeling next week. If it's Sunday. Yeah. But nice one, boys. Cheers for joining us, and thanks to everyone for listening. Have a good one. We'll see you, as Kev says, in the battle for top 3 next week. Third. Catch you there.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Go girls.